Strenuous Life Radio, the podcast for entrepreneurs, men and women, learn the essentials and human skills of the strenuous life. And now, your guest host, Jimmy. Hello, everybody. Good morning. This is episode SP6, Canon Force. Like I promised a couple of days ago, JR is here. Howdy. JR's going to be taking over it. We talked about, the 3 episodes back, the party and the pit. Received some guidance from JR about that. Let's just get on topic here. Canon the Force. What canon? There's a legal definition of canon, and there's a spiritual definition of canon, if you will. Now, the reason why I say that, Jimmy went to paralegal school. I went to law school. And the topic was originally about the movie called The Rain Man. But Jamie and I got the meetings of mine, and I took over and I said, "Hey, we're not going to talk about the Rainmaker, rather. We're not going to talk about the Rainmaker. Alright? We're not. We're going to talk about Canon the Force." So Jamie and I were both searching for answers. Jamie and I were both searching for answers. And let's just say we barely could. I researched during the summer of 1999. I took a clerkship for a federal judge. And what time I wasn't doing researching cases for him, I was hiding out in the law library of Wisconsin, studying legal periodicals, learning how to outsmart my law professor. Alright? There's times when the people that hurt you and stripped away some of that identity of yours will make you want to seek revenge. But Jimmy and I didn't want to do that. We wanted to search for answers. That's what everybody wants. The Canon the Force. The thing is, things Jimmy and I couldn't realize back in 1999 was that the answers we were looking for were staring at us all along. But let's just kindly say we had some friends that kind of stepped in and at first and kind of tried to sidetrack us from that goal. Needless to say, when you progress to a certain age of spirituality and success, sometimes some friends just go to the back burner, not out altogether. And I hate to say that, but it's just honest to God truth. You move on. You learn to move on. Why? Because you have your goals that become a must. How many of you want your goals to become a must? I know you do. Otherwise, why would you do it? Jimmy and I, we were working for our ideas. But we each had our assignment to do. Now, Jamie had 4 months of lag time between his divorce and going back to school. I didn't have that luxury. But both of us had support. Regardless of what our ex-wives were doing. We had friends that were able to help, encourage us, and back us up. Now, in both instances, we had a Brad that wanted us to reconcile with our ex-wives. Jimmy and I wanted that too, but bluntly, honestly, sometimes reality just stares at you in the face, and you got to see it. Back Canon in the force means that an identity you had in the past, that no doubt means a lot, it's closed. So what does that mean? Let me ask you this. What does that mean? That means you have to get out there and form a new identity. And why fart around about that? Jimmy and I've had to face that many, many times in our lives. But you know what? We did it. We both did it. And it's every bit worth it. Now, as it comes to business and everything, oftentimes when we want to progress, we gotta sometimes find a new identity, a new way of life. I mean, seriously. You gonna hang out with people that sit there and smoke weed all the time and talk about video games? I didn't think so. Oh, it sounds fun and everything, but you ain't gonna get anywhere. Except maybe be foolhardy enough to ride a go-kart. To get a date with your sweetheart, your high school sweetheart on a Saturday night. You know what I mean. But I'm going to say what's on my heart here. We're doing this on the computer to try to make this more personal. And yes, Jamie says I will be popping in here and there and everywhere to talk about these things. Canon the force. Canon, in many ways, one definition, and it's plain to see. Scripture. How many of you read the scriptures daily? I think you should. You see, the strenuous life is about a book reading plan in part. And it's about how you take care of your family. What good deeds are you going to make for the day? The reading plan? I think part of that plan is the scriptures right there. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna mess around about that. But now the legal definition of canon is the written judge-made law, which in some ways it depends on your legal philosophy and, quite frankly, your ethics. It's an open canon, or it's to be strictly interpreted according to the original intent of the founding fathers. I mean, Jimmy personally liked the latter. But then there's the ethical thing. And the thing is, you go to some universities and some law schools, they're going to try to separate ethics from morals. I'm going to tell you something. That's not part of the strenuous life. That's not something that JR believes in. Once you've drawn the line in the stand with your integrity, making a decision to stick to that integrity should be a piece of cake. You know what I'm talking about. But how many of you are willing to make a change of that Canon of force? Say your identity is in question. You have a faith crisis. You find that answer to yourself. See your faith's in a crisis. Are you going to give up your freedom of expression and your ethical, moral values? Well, geez, I hope not. I certainly hope not. Let me tell you something what we need in this country. We need a righteous invasion of truth. You know what the 4th of July should be about more than just the fireworks? How about people showing up, church, raising the flag, making a prayer, saying the Pledge of Allegiance? People think that there's something wrong with that. I'm sorry, I don't. We cannot be obtuse in thinking that there's something wrong with patriotism. However, our patriotism should also be tempered with loyalty to God. Our study of law and politics and all that should be tempered with the loyalty of God. The thing is, one thing I gotta say about the Canon of force, you gotta decide what you're gonna believe. You gotta decide. And I think that involves preparedness. If you are prepared, you shall not fear. Are you ready for that? I hope so. You know, I'm going to be as honest with you as I can. I enjoy having Jimmy on board and taking over some of the greater parts of this podcast. Kind of takes some pressure off me. But I seen that he was going through his story and he was struggling on what to say, so he just handed it over to me today. A Canon of force. It's okay to have to have a professional and business canon of ethics. Here's my question, though. I want to ask you this and be honest with you. What's your personal canon of ethics? What do you believe? What virtues can give you life? What morals can govern your life? It's my hope that we as a country wake up and realize what we've been losing. When you got professors, legal profession, glorifying Hollywood and the movie Rainmaker. And speaking out against such things, got some personal observance like Sabbath observance. People have reasons for living in according to the rules which they wish to obey. And if it makes them happy, we shouldn't question that. But no. We become a society that wants to change the rules. Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something here today. This is one thing that's going to make JR's blood boil here. Because I'm part of Italian. I believe in family. I believe in God. I believe in freedom and liberty. I believe the scriptures give us the virtues and morals that give us life and govern our lives. I believe in that old rugged cross. Jesus Christ atoned for us. I believe there's hope for people to come to Him. He will help us stand through for all the changes in life. So many people nowadays are so afraid, and why? There's propaganda on both sides of the aisle. A Canon of force. I have to be honest with you, we need that right now. We personally, some of us going through crises right now, and some of us personally, you need some kind of firm foundation to help build your identity. And back in June of 1999 till May, June of 2001, Jimmy and I were searching for that identity. There's lots of things I missed from before COVID. I missed the family get together before the 4th of July. Back when I was a kid. Mama's lovely peanut butter surprises. Yeah. But if you think about that canon of force, it doesn't mean mob rule. It doesn't mean polyocracy. Yeah, so many people don't know what that means. That means where many rule. And I think in some ways of polyocracy, it sounds like mob rule, sounds like an anarchy, something that we could approach if we don't get back to some ethics and virtues and morals. Give us life and govern our lives. Otherwise, we're messed up. And you know that we are. Unless we do something about it. It's not good to gut around and fart around. We can still grow and learn. But you have to work for it. It requires ethics, just like in business. I'm having to give Jimmy here a little bit of backbone so he can get some things done today. This morning we're doing this creative end. But now we got to make some calls. We got to get out there on social media. Do what needs to be done today. Because if we don't, we're messed up. We are messed up. So I want you to think about it. We're sitting here in the Strenuous Life lounge here. I want you to know, guys, here. Listen to me. Divorce can take a lot out of you. Make you feel like you on the dirt. Make you feel like you got no identity. Especially if you was married to somebody you really loved. Such was the case with me and Jimmy. one of the things I gotta say is that both Jimmy and I had a friend named Brad. We had friends that showed us, in some ways, our identity is in Christ. And yeah, in many ways, so that's true. But how do we realize that? How do we? Sit around, far around, wait for it to happen? Or do we pursue it? Do we always remember Him? Do we? Or are we just going to sit around, far around, hope for the best? Sit around, far around is not living the strenuous life. You ever grown up on a ranch? Now, this is not always the case in there's some ranches you grew up in where breakfast is at 4:30 in the morning. You miss it, tough luck. Now, I can't say that was always the case in my life. But you know something? Having a disciplined morning routine, getting up and reading your scriptures, reading some good books, finding some good deeds get done. And if you're an entrepreneur, one of the things I'm going to advise is that you make the calls you got to make today. Oh, but I don't want to. A lot of us don't want to. Let me ask you this. Just want to read the award? What does I want to say? It's the same thing as I don't feel like it. Had a granddad taught me. Sometimes you got to do it whether you feel like it or not. And Dr. Del Troy McNeil II said this. He said this. The world is ran by people who don't feel like it. But you know what? They do it anyway. I'm going to enjoy, at times, certain episodes being at the helm of this. And I know Jimmy selected certain episodes to do that. He hasn't consulted with me yet, but I'm sure somehow that he will. Now, let's talk a little bit more about that search for identity. The parties in the pit. You ever been to a party with friends? In some ways, you don't want to be there. Maybe there's just one, two, or two narcissists in the area. You don't like what's on the menu. It's either you or somebody else that you're close to. How many of y'all want to play that stupid rule? Do you want to associate with losers? See, that's part of the Canon force. Jimmy and I had to see. And we love Brad and Jim Bob. But sometimes, and sometimes a lot of people we hang out with, they can pop up with an attitude of being a loser. Now, no one is a failure as long as they learn to get up and learn from it. Because you see, it's not win-lose. It's win-learn. You understand what I mean? Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting Jimmy to expect me to take over, but he said speak for at least 42 minutes, and that's what I'm going to do. A canon in the force. What rules do you live by? Does God give you laws to live by? Now, I know some Christians, God bless them, they say, well, we're not under the law. We're under grace. And yes, that's true. But in many ways, I want you to point them to the Sermon on the Mount. Think about it. That's Jesus' higher law. But see, Jimmy and I didn't know that. $1999 to 2000, say around May, Jimmy and I were just barely staying afloat, keeping the identity. Sometimes me and Jimmy would blurt out on gathering the friends, we're in church, we're just lucky to be alive. Yeah, aren't we? But you gotta be on. Oh, I'm just lucky to be alive. Oh, I'm striving. No. You want to live the strenuous life, you can learn to thrive. You know what I mean? This is a Thrive Thursday edition of this, if you know what I mean. And it's going to be deadly for a while until Timmy and I are convinced that the series is over, which could be well into September. And then we'll have some after results as well. Bring the series up to a good round number at the conclusion, and then move on. Maybe broadcast more once a week. I haven't consulted with Jimmy yet about it. But I know he and I do well running James Hendrick Empowerment. And I know our daddy should be proud. Well, you know we got 14 minutes left. I want you to think about the canon of force. Like I said, canon has 3 different meanings. Canon as in scripture. Canon as in ethics. And canon as in law. And you ask me, I can't see why the 3 can't meet together and be a canon of force. That's what the founding fathers had in mind. Did they not? And why not? The Supreme Court said this in an 1811 case. Why may not the Bible, certainly the New Testament, to be established for learning of religion and morality in schools? Nothing has been more able to be read on religious and morality as a teacher, but the New Testament. So it's kind of like I said. What are you going to believe? What answers are you searching for? The answers that Jimmy and I were searching for and that we found will become more and more apparent as this series gets involved. Now, there's going to be some sidetracks, but as Jimmy will tell us, let me jump in for just a little bit, Jerry. A lot of some of the side episodes that, well, they are part of the series, but the episodes that deal with the quest for justice, those, let me tell you something. Those were the beginning of JR and myself finding the answers. And it was quite a search. Divorce is one of the hardest things I wouldn't wish on anybody. And what Jimmy and I saw paraded around, some people in some professions, when they got that divorce, they went out and did a jig and little celebration. I want to interject something here a little bit too, Jared. I went out to dinner with friends when my divorce was filed, not to celebrate, but as a commemoration of relief. It's not because JR and I wanted the divorce from my ex-wives, but because it was our only option. We wanted what we wanted. We got out of it. We certainly didn't want it to be with bitter and a bunch of squabbling. There was some when it came down to property. A lot of ways we just let our ex-wife pick. We did because, neither JR and I are for drama. Rule number 4 of James Hendrick Empowerment is this: drama's out, peace is in. Drama is out, peace is in. That's a canon of force. You can't be an effective entrepreneur, leaderpreneur, family man, or peace with yourself or peace with God if you're doing drama. Because drama is something that is, well, really, it's kind of racked up by the enemy of our souls. Because he introduces people into our lives sometimes that want to stir up drama. And you got to be strong enough to say, hey, we ain't going to tolerate this. No, we ain't. It's like I tell people, and they can get mad at old JR, they really want to. They want to know about what so-and-so said on social media. And I tell them straight up, unless it's something inspirational or something, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. There's too much crazy BS going on as it is. And we don't want to mess with it in any ways. No, I don't think we should. It's an easy way to just let the drama just carry us and distract us. And I've seen it in my life. But you need, if you are going for some drama when you're searching and striving for your sense of purpose and getting there, and drama hits you, that should make you more determined to go towards your goal, and not let a bunch of drama king and queen idiots try to deter you from your purpose. You got to keep on fighting. That's right. Non-negotiable. The drama kings and queens, they don't care about your success. They don't care about your success. What do they care about? Well, I'm just bringing the drama to you. What are you going to do about it? When all you got to say is, what's your issue? And they keep on. What do you say? You say, okay, well, that's up to you. Solve yourself. I have no part in it. The canons of force. That's your ethics. That's what you use. Okay, guys, closing out here. I'll go ahead and take over for just a little bit. I want you to know that this leads to something that I'm going to be doing tomorrow's episode 7. We're doing the strenuous line, and what's that? What is that? In some ways, it's cutting off part of the line of the former identity that's closed, but keeping enough to where you can get a healthy chunk back, if not even better. Okay, so I'll be doing that tomorrow, but I wanted JR to say his speech, and he's gonna be popping in and out, like I always said, because he knows there's some topics he knows to talk a little bit more confidently than I do. But it's like I said, from the party, we're going to go from the parties in the pit to the beginning of the strenuous line. And what that is once you know that certain identity from your former life, say in a marriage or something, is cut off. You take the healthy part that you can and use it to build your own life. Okay? So, don't fall down with that. Now, the last few minutes, I'm going to say this. JR, it's been a pleasure having you on board today. Oh, I'm always more than glad. I'm glad we changed the topic to the Rainmaker. I didn't realize it's going to be a difficult situation here. Well, Hollywood is not a part of strenuous life, unless there's a strenuous movie that I think we can all agree on is okay. I agree. And we're going to move on from that because it's crazy. But you see, the thing is, God has our best for us. But we got to find what is that canon of force. We got to find what that answer is. Okay? You know that. And I know that. It's unfortunate we have an adversity that disrupts our pattern. Some changes. Some people change their mind about whether or not they want to be with you. It's painful. But you know what? That's what the strenuous life is about. In some ways, it's recreating a pattern, recreating the life you want, without that person there. Or if it's a person that you like and everything, but for some reason they made some decisions that make things kind of limited, then there we go. But truth is, we have to find that canon of force ourselves. I mean, I can speak about it all I can. And I trust in God that He can help us find that. Maybe we found it. And if we're forced to repattern, that's what we need to rediscover our canon of force, depending on what's going on. Now, JR and I had to in 1999 because we wasn't sure our marriage was going to be saved, and well, neither one of our ex-wives wanted us to make the changes that we wanted to make. And that's why things are the way they are. I just want you to know, JR, it's always a pleasure to see and be with you. And I hope that this is the beginning of a fruitful relationship. Hope you enjoy listening to the Strenuous Life Radio. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and become a part of the Strenuous Life Radio family. It's J.R. Hendrick saying until next time, don't just sit there and take it. Build your dreams so you can take it. Do what others don't so you can be what others want. And do what others won't so you can have what others can't. And like my daddy always says, think strong, live strong, and live the strenuous life. God bless you. Hey, y'all take care now, you hear? Take care. Take care.